On my channel today, I want to further discuss the Jeffrey Epstein files and the file dump that the DOJ and the White House released last week, or earlier this week, I should say, and the outcome and what is transpiring as a result of the new information that has been added. And it's a lot of information. A lot of it is still highly redacted, but there are people within the world that are aggressively pursuing the internal workings of the files, including one gentleman developed some AI software in the States, whereas it goes through the entire file at lightning speed, and it's identifying many things, including stolen art, various degrees of very bad, very evil videos, pictures of underage children, infants, toddlers, and it's not looking good. And the level of anger that is increasing, especially in the United States, is ever increasing by the hour. So there's going to have to be some accountability because these Jeffrey Epstein files and what's contained in them is not going away. So I want to put some a correlation involving a notorious or infamous crime case in Canada that I believe started in 1978, and I just want to put into relation, like I did in my last video, that the level of evil and the level of people with severe psychopathic mental health issues, the level of what is actually walking amongst us and what people are actually capable of doing, that could be our neighbors. So when I do that, I'm trying to put it into perspective that people that don't believe what's contained in the Jeffrey Epstein files may believe it more so once they understand, oh, I remember the Robert Pickton case, or I remember the Bruce MacArthur case, or I remember the Paul Bernardo case, and countless other cases within Canada where very evil things were done to people. So I'll touch on the Robert Pickton case first. Robert Pickton was a pig farmer in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, which is on the west coast of Canada if you don't live in Canada. And it was originally his parents' pig farm, and he inherited the pig farm with a couple of his siblings. And by all accounts, he had a very bad upbringing, poor upbringing, very strange upbringing. He lived in squalor, very unsanitary conditions. I have a little experience because I grew up in the stockyards area of Toronto, and the smell of a pig farm, the smell of stockyards, it's not very nice. So he was picked on a lot as a child. He was bullied for the way he looked, the way he smelled, and he developed some psychological issues at a young age, and they manifested into the point where he became a serial killer by his own admission. Now, there was an extensive investigation done over a long period of time out in BC, and it was determined that he did indeed kill women, and he was convicted of it. I don't know how many. I think 6 he was convicted of, or 4, and he charged with, I'll put it up on the screen, but he admitted to a confidential informant or a police officer within prison that he was responsible for 48 homicides of marginalized women, indigenous women, where he would get them mostly from the east side of Vancouver. He'd go to East Hastings, and he'd pick up prostitutes with the lure of money, the lure of drugs, the lure of alcohol, and he would promise them a good time back on the farm. But unbeknownst to them, or little did they know, it would be their last time. And very evil, sexually depraved individual. Now, people that lived out in that area can directly attest to the fact that there is evil that walks amongst them. So he was subsequently convicted of some murders, and Pickton was sent to a prison towards the end of his life. He was out in Quebec, or Quebec City, or in that area, and he came to a violent end. Another inmate beat him, and he didn't die immediately from the beating, but I think he died a couple days later in hospital, and it wasn't too fucking soon, because a piece of shit like that should have been, should never even have been put in prison. He should have been put out. He should have been executed with no prison sentence. That's what I'm trying to get at here. So the way he went out, it was good. He went out a violent death himself, and whoever did took justice in their own hands in the prison. Well, my hat's off to that person. So now, how does this, me talking about Robert Pickton, and the other day I talked about Bruce McArthur, another serial killer in Toronto, how does this relate to Jeffrey Epstein? Well, like my channel is based on, it's based on a street level guy, street level perspective, and I try to put a local, or, you know, at the very least, a country relation to something that's going on in another part of the world. And with Bruce McArthur, Robert Pickton, the level of evil, like by dissecting bodies and disposing of body parts, I know, very graphic, it puts things into relation to the possibility that these elites that are being outed in the Epstein files could possibly do something along the lines of a Robert Pickton, a Bruce McArthur, a Paul Bernardo. Now, people that I'm talking to don't want to discuss this. It takes a lot of energy to do it, like I alluded to in my last video. It is quite the web that you get entangled in when you are trying to investigate it, and especially if you're not just trying to investigate, but you're trying to do a video like I do. And, you know, there's people, like, obviously, you know, my YouTube channel is not the most in-depth. It's not the most polished with regards to videos. I don't put any videos up yet. Might get around to doing that. But I do have some pictures I'm going to put up of Robert Pickton today, and pictures of other things I'm going to get into. But the things that are coming out in the Epstein files are making people down in the United States wanting accountability for the people that are being depicted in these videos and still photography. And there's a lot of celebrities. And I'm going to touch on a Donald Trump and a Bill Clinton story in 1 second. So if you are watching this sort of content, and you're watching whatever social media that you're picking, and you're going to see people wanting violent retribution for anyone that does harm to children. Like, we know the lowest form of crime in this world is harming children. And people go to drastic measures for revenge or retribution against people that harm children. And that's what people in the United States are calling for. They want to see public hangings, quote unquote. Some people, some politicians are saying public executions are necessary for these piece of shit pedophiles that are being outed on these videos in the still photography. Royalty, sports celebrities, politicians, people in the justice system, police officers, judges, lawyers, CEOs of business, high-level pharmaceutical CEOs, insurance CEOs. I said all this before. It's every walk of life, but it's a lot of the ruling elite that is being outed in this as well. And this is the reason why Donald Trump is not, or one of the reasons why Donald Trump is instructing his Department of Justice through Pam Bondi not to investigate, not to pursue the Epstein files, at least yet. Now, it would appear, they tried to cover it up a few times with Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Donald Trump. What files? Look at the economy. Pam Bondi's on record recently this week saying, what are we worried about the Epstein files for when the economy's doing so well? Look at the stock market. Look at the Dow. Well, Pam, your job is not a financial analyst. Your job is to prevent and to put people in crime that commit serious crimes in prison. That's your job. We don't need financial advice from you or shiny keys over here. We want you doing your job, and that's to go after people that are killing and raping children. Okay, the lowest form of scumbags on the earth. That's what we need you to do. I believe it's Thomas Massey, his name is. He had a hearing this week where he had Pam Bondi in front of a committee, and he grilled her. Now, Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Rand Paul have long fallen out of favor with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has put his vitriol on them. He calls them traitors. He calls them washed-up politicians, and they got Trump derangement syndrome. Same thing Pam Bondi did to Thomas Massey this week. But Thomas Massey said to the Attorney General, have you even interviewed any victims of the Epstein files? And she said no. Standing behind Pam Bondi was 18 people that were involved as victims in the Epstein files. He stood up and right behind her, and Pam got all flustered, started playing with her hair, visibly shaken, and she went into the tirade calling Thomas Massey, saying he had the Trump derangement syndrome and he's a washed-up politician, deflecting onus. So you have Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for trafficking people, but no one has been identified as a victim other than people that have self-admitted they were victims. No one has from Trump's Department of Justice gone after anyone in these Epstein files. And what I'm about to tell you right now might explain a few things. This is being widely reported. You may or may not have heard of it. I heard of it, I believe, 2 days ago. I've discussed it within my inner circle with some people. At first it's shocking. So it's a disclaimer right now. It's just what I've heard. I'm just a messenger. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but this is pretty crazy stuff. Maybe depending on which way you're looking at it, what I'm about to tell you. So during the last data dump of the Epstein files, it was unearthed, I believe, through this guy with an AI system that is going through all these files, that there was communication between either Vladimir Putin, one of his high-level assistants, asking if Putin still had the photos, get ready for this, still has the photos of Donald J. Trump performing fellatio on Bill Clinton, but they referred to Bill Clinton in the correspondence and the communication as Bubba. Now, everyone, not everyone, but people know that Bill Clinton's nickname is Bubba. So apparently there are photos, real photos. They're obviously not doctored, whatever. I'm assuming they're real photos. If Putin is in possession of these, of Donald Trump performing fellatio, blowing Bill Clinton. Now, Bill Clinton, during this sexual encounter, was wearing a blue dress, red pumps, and a pearl necklace. Now, this is significant for people that know this sort of thing, that in the Jeffrey Epstein brownstone townhouse in Manhattan, when you opened up the doors to go up the stairs in Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse, it's called a brownstone, very affluent, very expensive piece of real estate in New York City, Manhattan. At the top of the stairs was a painting of Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress, red pumps, pearl necklace with his legs up, sitting in a chair. Now, it's widely reported that painting was there. I've seen it many times, including, I think, over a year ago, I recall seeing this painting. I'll put it up on the screen. And the significance of this dress, well, two things I take away from it. The significance of the dress, it was apparently the same type of dress that Monica Lewinsky was wearing when she was performing fellatio on Bill Clinton, Bubba, in the Oval Office back in the day. The sexual encounter that he got impeached for, I do believe, and he denied at first. But then there was overwhelming evidence where he had to come clean. So now you would ask yourself, how would a man like Jeffrey Epstein, who has a close association with Bill Clinton, by all reports, 48 times on the island, hundreds of times mentioned in the Epstein files, how would Bill Clinton allow a person like Jeffrey Epstein to have a painting like that in his brownstone? That is of a former president of the United States in wearing a dress, cross-dressing essentially. So that, when I first heard that painting existed, I knew that it was Jeffrey Epstein imposing his control over Bill Clinton, meaning he had total control through blackmail or coercion over Bill Clinton. That goes to show how powerful and how high up the food chain Jeffrey Epstein truly is, or people say truly was, but truly is, because I believe he's still alive. I believe he's living in Israel. He is a top, very, very top level, for lack of a better word, spy. He's a very top level intelligence operative, to the point where he has power over former and current U.S. presidents. Now, it's been widely reported now too that that Jeffrey Epstein, in concert with Barack Obama, was controlling the Biden administration. Let's face it, Biden is a pedophile. No, I shouldn't say that. Let me back that up. Allegedly, Biden is in the Epstein files countless times with regards to pedophilia. I don't have corroborating evidence on that. It's alleged. So I'm not, obviously everything I'm saying here is for entertainment purposes. We all know that Biden, by all accounts, like at the very least, sniffing little girls and little boys' hairs. We've seen that hair. And, he was mentally compromised throughout his term. He had cognitive impairment. So it makes sense that someone else was indeed running the Biden administration. Someone had to be using the auto pen. Why not Jeffrey Epstein? Why not Barack Obama? Why not Big Mike Obama? Who knows who was operating the auto pen, but it certainly wasn't Biden himself. He was just a shill. He was a front man for the diabolical operation that was running the world at the time.
Now, has Trump been compromised? He's been compromised one way or another. Israel's compromised him. BB Satan Yahoo has compromised him. One way or another, he's compromised. He does not want to open up or pursue this the Epstein files. At least it appears that to me. It appears that way to me. Now, if I'm wrong in this, I hope I am. And he's playing possum right now, and he is going to unleash hell sooner than later on the people. He's putting together huge indictments. He's putting together huge cases against these people. And if he does that, well, I'll come on here and I'll admit that I was wrong, and I will apologize to Donald J. Trump for accusing him of performing fellatio on Billy Clinton. I will apologize. But until then, he better start doing something. I'm going to touch on another. Okay, so getting away from the Epstein file for 1 second, I'm going to touch on a person that David Icke has outed for many years, and that's Jimmy Savile. He's an Epstein type character in the UK. He's been dead for I think over a decade now, but he was an enabler over there. He was a facilitator of pedophilia to people in the European market, and he was close with the royals, including at the time Prince Charles, now King Charles, Lord Mountbatten, which was a relative of King Charles. And by all accounts, this Jimmy Savile guy was a real scumbag piece of shit as well. Not so dissimilar to Epstein. Maybe not quite as high up the spectrum with intelligence, but the same type of psychopath that would like to inflict injury and do sexual debauchery to children. And it's widely regarded or widely known over in the entertainment industry over in the UK and political circles that Jimmy Savile was, for lack of a better word, the pimp over there for young boys and girls and who knows what else. So I'm going to talk a little bit about David Icke. David Icke did a video this week, 4 days ago, with Kathy O'Brien. Kathy O'Brien, if you don't know who she is, she's an American that was part of the MK Ultra mind-altering program, and she was indoctrinated into the sex trade. She was human trafficked. Then subsequently, when she had a daughter, her daughter was also put into that the human trafficking lifestyle, and she's wrote a book on it. I'll put the book up on the screen. And I never read the book. My brother has read the book. My brother is going to be on my podcast soon in the next week or two. My brother will be adding, my older brother, he'll be adding his commentary and his vast experience with regards to this sort of deceptive world that we've been groomed into. My brother has been doing this for a lot longer than I have. He's a big proponent of David Icke. And I'll put David Icke's video along with the interview with Kathy O'Brien at the end of this video, and you can watch that if you want to. And it all ties in. It's all part and parcel with the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world. It's all part and parcel with the level of evil that is controlling our lives from a day-to-day basis, keeping us misinformed, keeping us poor, keeping us taxed to the point that we don't have any extra thought process other than trying to stay alive. So we don't go after people like a Jeffrey Epstein. We don't go after people like that that are contained in the Jeffrey Epstein files. This is all by design, and I'm going to get more and more into this as my videos progress, and I'm going to have some more guests on as well that have differing opinions from mine, but a lot of it's going to be like-minded commentary, and it's going to be different perspectives, because I don't have all the answers. People that watch my content know that. I reach out to my viewer base for comments and to point me in the right direction, because I'm not a know-it-all. I'm learning every day. I have a lot of people that watch my content that are very intelligent people and provide very good information. But also, some of my viewers recently have been pointing out that some of their comments are disappearing. Some of my comments are disappearing. My subscriber list is going up and down, fluctuating up and down, mostly going down then up. My views are sometimes below my likes. It's just strange stuff is going on. And people with YouTube accounts with this sort of content can mimic what I'm saying, I would imagine. And obviously I'm not looking for huge numbers on my views, because my channel is small, and I understand my limitations to what I can provide from a content perspective. Currently, I'm trying to work on some things to make my content better. But at the end of the day, my channel is based on a street level guy with average intelligence that wants to put things from a geopolitical perspective and local perspectives, translated from what I see to what I can convey to my camera and to what you can see. And I try not to overcomplicate things. Sometimes I mix up my words and it becomes a little bit convoluted. I understand that, but I'm working on that anyhow. So more and more of the Jeffrey Epstein information's coming out, and it's a worldwide network of sexual deviants. And even worse, people that get off on unaliving people, unaliving small people, children. It's beyond comprehension. But people in the United States and throughout the world are asking for the people that are in the Epstein type files to be held accountable, and to be held accountable with extreme prejudice, which means people are actually saying on other forms of social media that they want these people to go through a legal process and to be executed. That's what I'm saying. That's where people are, and that's where I'm at too. I don't want people that cause harm to children and to infants, and I mean like real harm beyond our comprehension. I don't want those people walking amongst us. I want them gone. I want them rid from society. And at the very least, throw them into a gulag and throw away the key at the very least, but I'd like to see them eradicated from the planet. That's my stance, and that's a lot of people's stance. So to recap the video, as the days go by, more information is coming about the Epstein files. Pam Bondi, Donald Trump, all those type of people in the DOJ and his administration have to pursue these people. If Donald Trump is complicit in this, if Donald Trump is in these files, and like people like Mark Carney and Justin Trudeau and whoever else, it doesn't matter. Take them down, prosecute them. We can't have these people in our society. So more of this is going to come out, and I'm going to talk about it increasingly the more information I get about it. So anyhow, that's all I got to say today. Thanks for watching. You have any comments, questions, or concerns, or like you always do, provide me with added information. Watching my channel, I try to get back to all my comments. It doesn't always happen, but I'm pretty good. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.